Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. Good morning. Adam here with Ryan, aka Wolf. Another episode of Saints Block Party Podcast coming at you on an early Saturday morning. We're recording this to recap the Saints concluding minicamp. They got their minicamp work in 2 days in, and then day 3 of minicamp was canceled. So we'll get into the nitty and gritty of everything Saints related, getting to the nitty gritty of it, just minicamp in general, especially recapping day 2. We kind of had some boots on the ground. Our dude Mark was there for practice, really gave his impressions and observations to our community in the Discord, which is really cool. But Bill, I'd be like super remiss if we didn't like start with just the figures of everything happening in this country and outside of this country.
Oh Lord!
Right now, there's going to be obviously more protest in Los Angeles and Echo Park, and all over the country in response to ICE raids and detentions. You have National Guard, military involved. And that's just
You got a military parade in DC,
yes.
and in response to that, there's going to be like this huge national protest, No Kings protest or whatever. Got Iran and Israel about in war right now. Iran and Israel. Let's talk about the Saints, baby. Oh man,
We can't even be like in a like. That's the thing with sports. That is a double-edged sword, because no matter what if football, whatever your sporting team is, because there's this escapism that people love for sports, right? You love
right.
just you try to escape the world and everything around it. But even then, now like you can't escape it because it's integrated with everything.
Yeah.
When your team is shit, where you go watching the news stories and you just get like all this like anxiety of just like, oh my god, this world's on fucking fire, blah blah, and then you realize like the Saints won like 5 games last year.
Like, damn, I can't even escape. Shit. Got nothing. I ain't got nothing to escape to, bro. This was. It's like damn, man.
If you like a I don't know, like a Chiefs fan or an Eagles fan, you'd be like,
Yeah, it's like, damn, that ice stuff crazy. Anyways, Mahomes doing.
we gonna repeat. We gonna rebound.
Can we get another one?
Not here. Not here. Just straight in our face.
In our face, bro.
And Wolf and I have texted about this, but on a serious note, you really have to kind of laugh to escape from.
Yeah, you laugh not to cry, bro. Like it's
Legit.
like we said before. I'm tired of unprecedented. Like,
Tired, right?
I don't even like opening my phone in the morning, bro, because it's like, what am I about to see? Like, what happened today? It's gonna be something that's just like never happened before.
The military account from Iran saying we've arrived might be the most gangster shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, but also the wildest shit. Like, I can't.
Nations on Twitter like, what's up? What's up? What's up, bitch?
Y'all was talking greasy. Y'all want to come at us? Bet.
I got you. Got these long range missiles for you.
Oh shit. TJ said, tired of unprecedented, ready to be unprecedented. Please. Yeah, let's talk Saints minicamp. Completely. It really puts in perspective how like meaningless football really is. Like
Oh
when we
yeah,
really talk about it.
it's meaningless, but it look. I mean,
But it is.
all throughout
Yeah,
history, there's been some kind of sport, some kind of escape. People literally starving, trying to get day to day. But you had,
the Coliseum.
Coliseum. You had all kind of little activities. I mean, during slavery, like New Orleans famous for the birth of jazz, that was birthed from slaves getting, 1 day a week, Sunday, to have like their own time, and them getting together in what is now Armstrong Park, used to be Congo Square, and get together and make some music and, just enjoy themselves. In slavery, like they were slaves, and still find the time to like just, escape just for a
Right.
day. So I mean that's just a part of being a human, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like
You gotta have the
gotta
self
it is
care.
what it, gotta have that self care, bro. Or we will just I want to kill
Kill
myself.
myself, bro. I almost posted the video yesterday, bro, with all the tweets I saw, bro. What an iconic video that's fucking become.
Oh man.
Saints minicamp went. Day 2 was on Wednesday. Wesley Fernandez said, "Just give me the presidential equivalent of a boring quarterback purgatory for 10 years after this shit,
Hey,
please."
you had a grandpa in there, great grandpa in there about a couple years. It was good and boring, bro. Like, say what you want. Wasn't perfect at all. Far from perfect, but I was not worried opening my phone in the morning. I
No,
just,
not at all. Not at
didn't
all.
care. Like, wasn't worried at all, bro.
Bro, I remember being at the Senior Bowl when like what was it like the SSS payment stopped working.
That was this year, huh?
Yes, Ryan, that was this year. Me, you, and Dante was like, "What? What already?" Like,
That was this year. Oh my god.
I was talking to
Oh,
Jay. I was talking to Jay. Was it last week or this week? And I was like, "Oh man, we're at least a year into like the term, right?" And she was like,
no, it's a half a
"He
year.
was like, it's like 6 months," and I was like, "Oh my god." Oh, all right. Saints. Day 2. One thing I want to start with. I want to give the quarterback thing a break. Let it fucking breathe a little bit.
Please.
Day 1 in OTAs, we had talked about the concern of the cornerbacks and lack of that being at the forefront. And here you have very next day Kool-Aid McKinstry, who honestly, for all intents and purposes, like he's gonna have to be CB1. Like unless they bring in Jair Alexander, unless they bring in Asante Samuel Jr., even then, like he's
Even
gonna
then,
have
yeah.
to be CB1. Sounds like on this past Wednesday he just went out, had a really good day of practice in terms of just reps. Again, it's mini camp, so it's important to a degree, but I like seeing positive things on players. I like seeing that he had a great day of practice. And it sounded like also like Alante Taylor has had a good mini camp. I still get a little queasy in terms of him, like in terms of his consistency, but seeing those like little building blocks of Kool-Aid McKinstry and him taking those like next steps. And this is the first offseason since he's been in the NFL that he's been fully healthy. He came into the league as a rookie. He wasn't healthy. He had that foot injury in Alabama. So he, like, for this defense to be borderline average, like not even good, just to be average, Kool-Aid needs to be a big, huge part of that. And seeing him have a good mini camp practice was encouraging.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, all through OTAs, it was 95% completions and da 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 da. You're like, okay, it's OTAs, but damn, like, can a brother get a PBU or something like? And fast forward to minicamp, completions are down to about 70%, 75%, and it's like, okay, this seems like a little more normal. At least guys are in position, in phase, getting their hands on balls, getting picks. I think Spencer Rattler has thrown like 2 or 3 picks this week. Shuck threw one, I believe. So guys are getting their hands on balls. They're disrupting. They're playing a lot more situational football, depending on down and distance and stuff like that. So the defense can get a better read. It's not just a bunch of 5 wide receivers running routes. You know what I'm saying? It's like actual playing a little more defense, just a little more. Still with no pass rush, but you're able to see that. So I was happy to see. I'm happy to see Kool-Aid McKinstry just showing up, making some plays. Because like I said, watching him, I haven't done like a deep dive on him from last year, but like just watching what I could of him, he was a guy that was like always in position. Like you felt good about him being in position, but he was just like a beat or two late. And, whatever that comes from just being a rookie or just, film study and knowing what.
Boot Crew Media just did a deep dive of his rookie. I haven't watched it.
Oh yeah, well I haven't watched it.
But they did a deep dive of his rookie season and why he's potentially poised for a breakout in year 2. So
he comes from that scheme, bro. Like what he did with Nick Saban, very similar to what Brandon Staley does.
Yes,
with the zone pattern matching and all that stuff.
Sure is, man.
So he poised to break out, bro. Hopefully, man. Like he got to. Like we need you to do this, bro. Like we need you. Like will you be, Marshawn Lattimore, lockdown city? No, probably not. You know what I'm saying? But if you could be a good, reliable cornerback that's gonna, just take care of your guys, and you don't have to really worry, about your side of the field. Oh man,
I'm trying to think of a good like
comparison.
Yeah, that I can just like even like Saints era that would be appropriate.
Yeah, some bad corners.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's hard. Like I would like if he like Tracy like even Tracy Porter. A Debo minus last season after like the end. I think like a Debo last season was like not good, but prior to last season, most of Debo's play was really good. The big question was, could he truly be a CB1? Kool-Aid's not going to have like a choice, like because Debo always had Marshawn to like lean on, or but like. If Kool-Aid could be a Debo-esque for the Saints, that would be a huge win.
Huge, bro. Huge. And then there's everything's kind of start falling into place, because then, Alante, hopefully he plays the slot. But still, the other cornerback spot is still in question. You know what I'm saying? It's
wide open, bro.
It's like, is it Almighty? Like, I don't know. That's why I still think Asante Samuel, like, I still think they got that phone number on the top of the list. Like, just checking in on you. It's a neck surgery, right? How did neck feeling, bro?
Well, he already got the neck surgery, and then the report was saying that he was going to, Asante, and I'm assuming his agent, was going to be more active in terms of selecting his team come July, which we're almost to July. Because I'm sure he wants to be on the team for training.
Yeah, right. And, luckily, Quincy Riley, he's starting to get involved more. He was in on 9 and 7s. So he's getting involved. He's, looking to be healthy. So should be full 100% go come training camp. If he's already in 9 and 7 on some team activities and stuff like that, should be full go. Again, rookie, 3rd, 4th round pick, something like that.
Mark thinks the corner. So he just going off what he saw the one practice. He think it might be Rico Payton's season.
Rico. I like Rico last year, man. We'll see, bro. Like, again, like I said last week, I really feel Dennis Allen was a downward pressure on development.
Yes.
It would have
Yes.
been nice to see like a little more Rico Payton last year. You know what I'm saying? Especially after going losing all those games. But I think he has a chance now. It's like it's completely open, bro, and it's really gonna be on Brandon Staley too. Just the way teams play defense now, man. It's such a like intelligence, understanding offenses and stuff
Huge,
like
man.
that, man. Like the guys got to be smart back there, bro.
Can't have
And
no
I
dummies.
like that Alante. I like that Alante. I do like that Alante is taking like a leadership role. It's like, damn, Alante taking a leadership role, but sometimes that could kind of spark you. Like I
Yeah.
remember years ago, when I was working on the army base, they kind of put me in this like a shift leader role. And I mean, I personally, I was like, man, I'm not ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they kind of pushed me to do it, and that kind of forced me to kind of take ownership of not only my work, but just being on my P's and Q's and taking care of
For
business and
sure.
taking more of an initiative on things. And it just kind of pushed you to do it because it's like, okay, I'm in a leadership role now. So maybe Alante, can have that spark where he just could be a little more professional. And I'm not saying he wasn't, but like there were reports like 2 years ago about the film study habits and all that stuff. So maybe that will help him, going forward. So we'll see.
Did you get to shop at the PX when you was on the army base?
No, I never did, but I had to since I wasn't in the army, I didn't have like an
Oh,
army
that's
like
right.
card or nothing. But I had people, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to hook me up, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so I'm gonna read. So these are Mark's minicamp thoughts when he went on the 11th again. So this would have been Wednesday. So Mark was at practice. So these are just his opinions. So I don't want to conflate. So this is what he saw from the minicamp practice that were open to the fans on day. This would have been day 2 of minicamp practice. So he's at pros. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed look fantastic. Meaning Brandon Cooks looks like a solid third option. AK is still there. Miller looks sharp, and then parentheses, please work out. Alante and Kool-Aid will be okay, which we just talked about. Rico Payton season. I appreciate Kellen's involvement with his guys, which I think is really big and important. Our kicker and puncher will be ballers. And then cons. Running back depth could be a big issue. Neal is slow, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire question mark. And then they did sign Cam Akers after minicamp, the tryout that he had after minicamp. And then Shuck definitely needs work. His processing will most likely be a big issue at this level. A ton of variance to his play. Safeties look not great. A lot of corner routes getting free over the top, even with Matthew in the mix. The reports are true. Spencer is certainly the most consistent quarterback. He drops back and gets his throws off in rhythm pretty easily. This quarterback battle will be determined fairly quickly in the preseason when the lights come on. They need a big body receiver like yesterday. Stellar,
Sounds about
stellar,
right.
stellar observations and reporting from our dude
Mark,
Mark
man, shout out to Mark.
for sure. Anything you want to comment on from our dude's Mark's reporting?
Obviously, the running back thing is interesting because AK, finally showed up for mandatory mini camp. Looks like AK, what I'm saying, but he's getting into that late 29, 30 range, bro, where those guys fall off a cliff.
Yep.
And he was already starting to show a little signs where that kind of that breakaway speed is gone and stuff like that. Still, still can get you big chunks. Still, like can maneuver through traffic and bounce off tackles like you normally can. Still kind of underutilized in the passing game.
Hugely.
Um, but he's there. But after that, man, it's like I don't know. I mean, I don't want to hear about no Clydes that would live, right? I just don't want to hear it, man. Like, and
Marcus
Cam Akers
Barnes,
is bringing
Valladay.
validate. So Savian. But man, I didn't even remember. I didn't even know he was a running back. I thought he was a wide receiver because there was that clip.
So did I.
That clip we were laughing about last week with him going deep, catching that ball, And I've seen a couple of reports saying like, man, he's been kind of that minicamp guy that's kind of like, who's this guy? You know what I'm saying? And come to find out he's a running back moving like that. Okay, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? Like just something to just put a little asterisk by to check back
Mm-hmm.
later. To see how he's doing come training camp. They did sign Cam Akers. I mean, he had two Achilles, both legs. Like,
Whoo.
like I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But that running back 2-3 spot, and there's of course there's Kendry. Was just we've talked ad nauseum about Kendry.
Ad nauseum, bro.
Talented, yes. Theoretically, he should be like the shoe in for RB2, but it's Kendry. You know what I'm saying? So,
Brian Lane in the chat said Juwan Johnson should be that big bodied receiver.
say the thing about Juwan. Look, Juwan has the ability to do all that, yes. But I was going through the stats earlier this week. He's never had one game. Been with the Saints since what, 2020?
Yes.
Hadn't had one game over 60 yards
What?
until the final two games of last season. He had like 63 yards and 60-something yards. No 100-yard games, like no 80-yard games. Took until the final two games of last season to finally hit 60 yards in the game. Never caught over 6 catches again. Not until the final two games of this past season.
Juwan time.
Juwan time, baby. So it's like, theoretically, just like Kendrick, yes. Like, theoretically, he should be a productive. He has the talent to be a productive, but he had yet, like Bijan brought it up perfectly in the Discord. Like, has there ever been like a Juwan game? Like, man, Juwan just unstoppable in this game. Never. Like, it just never happened. He's had some like good moments and like,
For sure.
wow, nice catch, stuff like that. But there's never been a game where it's like, man, they just can't stop Juwan, bro. We've had plenty of games where the tight ends have done that to us.
Plenty.
Tyler Higbee and just all kind of guys. Like, damn, like, can we put somebody up this guy? But Juwan has yet to have that game, bro.
Here's what I think people make the mistake of doing is that they assume that with Kellen coming in, like all the warts. And this is not me saying that like Dennis Allen, like yes, Dennis Allen was a terrible coach, but they assume that all the warts that the players had previously are like magically going to get like ironed out and steamed away just because like Kellen or it doesn't. Because I see this with that teams of I've seen this with fans of other teams also do this with like incumbent players when like a new coach comes in. It's like sometimes that player is just who that player is.
Who they
like
are. Yeah.
That Juwan Johnson, even when they converted him from wide receiver to tight end, like if Sean Payton couldn't get the best out of Juwan Johnson, like I don't think something's gonna magically change now that Kellen Moore is in. Like his utilization might be different, but in terms of like him as a player, he is who he is. So it's very dangerous to just bank on that like player, like because Juwan's going on what, year 5?
Yeah.
The 5th year. It's dangerous to just bank on that, just getting like him, Kendra, those two especially, right?
Yeah.
And even I don't want to like I know Alante's had like a pretty decent minicamp, but even him to a degree, sometimes players show you who they are, right?
Yeah.
And so a better coaching staff can come in, a better head coach can come in, and in theory, like change the culture. But just banking and just assuming that a player's just going to take a jump just because a better coach is in. Now, I think that is could be more indicative on a player like Brian Bresee instead of a player like Juwan Johnson. Because at least with Brian Bresee, I think the difference is you've seen like the true flashes where he has like beaten a guard with his insane quickness and gotten a tackle for loss or gotten a sack. With the Juwan, it's more of just it's the drops. It's different things.
Consistency.
Yeah, there you go.
Just not consistent. That's the difference between solid players, good players, and great players. You know what I'm saying? Like great players are consistent. They You're able to depend on them week to week, snap to snap, and play to play. And Dwayne Johnson, Kendra Miller, Alante Taylor, all these guys have struggled with consistency. Um, the hope is Kellen Moore, good coaching, can solve that, but it might solve maybe one or two of them, but not all of them. Like you know what I'm saying? If you're lucky, maybe one of them will come through and become a consistent player.
Bro, I'll tell you one thing that annoyed the shit out of me, bro. Like, following 32 beat writers on Twitter is such a clutch, like you said, such a clutch follow
Clutch.
around this. But like, they posted like this little. It felt like a puff piece, but like, it did feel legitimate. Of, like the Chargers drafted like a tight end in this past draft class, and he's like showing out. I'm just like every team just invested in a tight end this past.
Everybody
Every
got a
team.
tight end or running back,
Running back.
except us. Got Devin Neal. Who I like Devin Neal, but you know, like he's like not a juicy running back. I'll just put it like that. And look, just the way I sounded, like Mark said in his report, look a little slow, bro. Like just look a little slow. And it's maybe when the pads come on, it comes out. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. I belabored it enough. Let's get into the quarterback competition talk because I just have a request for as it's being covered. I just hope that it's covered consistently and fairly across the board without any external factors. That's all I'm going to say regarding just the quarterback competition.
Right. I want to know, like, this is for any beat writer that's watching. What's your opinion? Not this, you know, they drafted him, what is your opinion? If the Saints have to start a game next week, who you rolling with? You know what I'm saying? Who you rolling with? Who would you feel most comfortable in out of the two? I ain't worrying about Jake Hayne and all that. Out of Chuck and Rattler, who you feel most confident about going into week one? If week one was next week, you know what I'm saying? Because we can't see the future. We don't know how training camp is going to.
Nope.
Training camp is going to be the decider, though. All this 707 stuff, great, fun, a lot of learning, teaching, da-da-da-da-da. When the pass rush and guys are in your throwing lanes and pushing guards and that is the ultimate decider on who's going to be what and how you perform under pressure and with noise all around you. That's what I'm excited to see. But all this stuff was just, positive to see, and I love reading the reports, and I love all that. But man, it's like, what can you really take away from it? Like, what can you really? The most thing I could take away from it, I've read consistently, going from OTAs all the way through minicamp, is that Rattler has a better command of the offense. He's seeing things quicker and clearly. He's getting the ball out quicker and more decisively. That to me, like, speaks volumes. And it's not like there's negative reports about Shuck. Like, everything I see about Shuck has been positive, but he's a beater too late. You know what I'm saying? He's a beater too late. He's a little more indecisive. Now, I also have read that he's seen the improvement from when he first came in to now, where he's he's just getting better and better, which is what you want to see. So, it's going to be fascinating, bro. I don't know.
It's a small thing on my radar, and I've talked about it in our Discord. And it by July, before training camp, it may be a non-factor, but there are so many second-round picks who are not signed because of it was Jaden Higgins that got a fully guaranteed contract, and who was the other second-round pick? I'm blanking on right now. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I know for sure, like I think him and his agent got signed by the Texans, and his contract for a second round pick for all 4 years is fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
And so now, if you're a second round pick, now every second round pick wants their contract fully guaranteed, as they should.
Yeah. Everybody drafted ahead of him. Everybody
Right,
drafted
drafted by
after him. Everybody's in the waiting pattern. Like,
everybody.
who's going to blink first?
Giovanni asked if Tyler signed. No, that's the point I'm making. So what's going to be interesting to me is if his contract situation, how soon it gets resolved, because once it gets to training camp, if a player's unsigned, they can't report to training camp as a rookie.
Right.
And this becomes a game of chicken in terms of if Mickey relents, like, okay, well, this because we know that Mickey wants him to be week 1 starter. We know that. We reported that literally during the Derek Carr retirement emergency podcast episode back in May. We know that he wants him to start. And this is what I was told, that unless he looks terrible, that he's expected to be the week 1 starter, which kind of gives you the impression that really no matter how Spencer Rattler does, unless it's not close, then Shuck may be the name to starter. I'd be interested to see if Rattler looks better throughout training camp, not by a lot, but let's say by, I don't know, 15-20%, if that's enough to Kellen to be like, you know what, for the first couple of games I want to go with Spence. Yeah, that part is the most fascinating aspect to me about the whole thing.
Very.
But if Mickey is so intent on Shuck starting, does he just give him the guaranteed 4 years early so he's there at training camp? Or if it's something that he's going to kind of put his foot in the sand and Shuck is and his agent's no, I want what Jayden Higgins got, which is fair for him to ask. Does it become this little standoff where he may miss, I don't know, a couple of days in training camp? Maybe I don't know. And again, it may not get to that at all. They just may relent and give him the full guaranteed contract. It's just a little thing that's on my radar regarding the Shuck situation.
No, man, it's been on mine too since all this has been going on. And, from Shuck's perspective, he wants to start, I'm sure. He wants to.
Yeah.
So he has to balance what's more important to him. Man, do I fight over this extra couple million guaranteed? Or, man, I need to get to camp. Because at the end of the day, if I get into camp, I can win this job.
Yep.
If I win this job and I perform well, I got a big contract waiting on me, 2-3 years from now. So screw this little, grumbling about this little guaranteed money right here on the second round contract. So they got to balance all that out. Very fascinating, bro. It might, like you said, it could, he could get signed next week, you know what I'm saying, and just be done. Who knows?
Be a non-story.
We'll see. But it's an interesting thing because it's not just Shuck. It's everybody.
Everybody.
So it's like a domino effect. Who blinks first? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to be the first one to blink and just say, I'm going to sign it? Because nobody wants to set precedent. No team wants to set precedent.
No player and no team wants to set that, and no player and agent wants to set that where they're the ones who don't take the non-guaranteed contract. Because then other teams would be like, well, but blah didn't, and then it's just a waterfall effect.
Exactly. It's somewhat similar to the Shamar Stewart thing where you're they're just we're not doing this. We're not about to be that one player and agent that's gonna take this. You know what I'm saying?
What a fucking wild just insane situation that is. Just very Bengals. Mark said if they start Shuck week 1, they're going to ruin that young man's career.
Damn.
I guess probably Mark says that just from the aspect of probably seeing him in person and just, and maybe Mark can elaborate on that. But just if
Mark biased though, man. Mark is biased. Mark,
he is.
Can't stand Shuck. Can't stand Shuck. So I think we need to put that out there to the viewers. But Mark is a very fair, very football smart guy. So I do trust Mark. You know what I'm saying?
TJ's making a good point that those first 4 games are going to be brutal. That's
brutal,
true,
bro. I mean, that's just a fact.
Arizona, San Fran, Seattle. Wait, Seattle and then Buffalo. Yes.
I don't care if Shuck look good, look great through preseason. That's gonna be rough for any rookie, bro. Any rookie, that is gonna be rough. And then you got a new head coach, play calling head coach, new defense, Ooh. Like, I don't know. You know, so it's
That's
going to be rough with Spencer. If Spencer get in there, it's going to be rough for him.
Morgan
That's just so rough.
Freeman. Good luck.
Good luck, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Uh, QE said the smart decision would be to start Rattler, but the business decision will outpower that, and they would go with Shuck to justify the decision. Rattler has the experience of facing NFL defenses. That feels about right. That feels about right of how it will play out. Giovanni said we could possibly start 0-4.
Yeah. This is a very much a possibility.
They might surprise us if week one beat the Cardinals,
Hey,
bro.
hey, I got them winning against the Cardinals.
You do,
Like,
you sure do, bro. Now after
they
that,
figure it out. After that, that's all I got. Patriots game for the meetup.
in that Giants game, god damn it.
Yep.
There was another thing I did want to hit on. Came just gone.
Go.
It's gone. Oh yeah. Vander was at the minicamp too, and I put his thoughts in minicamp in our Discord. He was I was at the minicamps, and from what I've seen from both quarterbacks, I think Spencer's going to run away with the QB1 job. Shuck can catch up, but rather also incrementally improve. We'll see. Like, and I'm careful about I feel like we have to be careful about how like we talk about the quarterback competition, because people already assume like we have like a ingrained bias of like which way. I don't fucking care. Like, whoever the best quarterback should start. But like for us, it's always it should be who the best quarterback is should be the one starting, and the person that should be making that decision should be the head coach. It should not be any way the fucking GM that doesn't have football sense. He's not a football person. That person should not have any decision of making the decision of who the fucking starting quarterback is of the New Orleans Saints. But I was told in May that he was the one wanting Chuck to start. That's where I get the standpoint I come from of if Kellen, if the competition plays out and Kellen truly feels that Shuck is a starter week one, a true competition, that's what his assessment is, then we fucking roll.
Yeah.
But I don't want that pressure coming from Mickey where that comes in.
Yep, I'm 100% agree.
Montreal said we're going 4-1. I don't believe NFL is saying about us.
4-1? Damn. That's optimistic as hell, bro. That's very optimistic.
We start 4-1. Our numbers gonna be through the roof, nigga.
Ooh. Hey, I ain't gonna be complaining.
No.
But it's gonna be so fascinating, bro. Like, it really is, dog. Because, you know, a big part of me wants to just see Spencer Rattler in a functioning offense with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed and a theoretically good, decent offensive line. I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see what it looks like. Because he was a quarterback drafted by the Saints, and you want to see what you have there. You know what I'm saying? But I also want to see Shuck. I want to see that arm talent on display. You know, it just sucks that it just kind of worked out this way. You know what I'm saying? Like that got two quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? And
the age-old question: if you got two quarterbacks, do you really have one?
Do you really have one? Like, I just want to find out. I want to find out: do we have one? Do we have two? Do we have none? They might not have any. They might both suck. You know what I'm saying? So you really just don't know, man. And I just hope we find out some kind of way. I don't know.
And here's the thing that the Saints need to know, and they'll get their answer this season. They need to know the answer to that question going into this draft with the quarterback class that is coming out. They have to know the answer to that question. Is it Rattler? Is it Shuck? Is it none? Because if it's none, and if they don't do well this upcoming season, if they're picking top 5, we gotta dig in to Cade. We gotta dig into Drew Aller. We gotta dig into Garrett Nussmeier. Oh my God, sell it. Whoever we gotta dig in, because we more than likely are going to have to invest a top 5 pick into a quarterback.
And they really need to decide quickly how they're going to evaluate that. Like what measures and benchmarks or whatever do either of these quarterbacks have to beat for
Well,
them to?
it's interesting because I was thinking, because I'm a sicko, I was thinking about this in the shower a couple of days ago. It's that, so you know how our project, when we do the prospect matching, it's
Mhm.
always, it's based off the players that the Saints have drafted, right?
Right.
But to do like a true thing of that, like it would also need to include, since we have insider information, it should also include the players that we know that the Saints have wanted to draft over the years to
Yeah, that's a
truly
good point.
get right. Like it would need to include like a JSN who plays for the Seahawks. It would need to include Lucas Van Ness who plays for the Packers. Cam Ward, they wanted to trade up for Cam Ward. Like that's someone in terms of his quarterback, like not just his measurables, but like games played, his completion percentage, blah 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 blah. Like in terms of like to just make, if we wanted to really fine tune the project and to get it like hit it home, it would need to include the players that we know that they wanted to draft, but Patrick Mahomes, that for whatever reason they missed out on, and they
Right.
weren't able to draft. Chris in the chat said Penix Jr. as well. So yeah, I know the point I want to make. So the Saints are not going to do the joint practices with the Chargers instead, but they are going to come to Southern California. You're going to work out in Irvine for a week before the preseason game and after the preseason game, I believe, and then head back to Metairie, back to training camp. They haven't announced it yet, and they didn't say anything during when Kellen was talking about it. I would be shocked if they open any of those practices up to fans. I would be shocked.
Agreed. I don't think they will. I don't think they will, man. And again, it sucks. We hammered it home last year when they pulled that. Um, it just makes no sense to me. I've yet to hear a coherent argument against it. Like I've yet to hear one argument that says, "Yeah, I could see that." None. There are plenty of Saints fans out there in Southern California. Most of your Saints fans out there spend big money on travel, spend big money on the Sunday ticket, all that stuff. Diehards. Like you could allow, a couple hundred people in there to, watch the Saints if they're willing to come and go see. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I'm gonna wait till announcement, but once that announcement is made, I'm gonna be back. We're gonna be back on that ass, call them out on it, ad nauseum for nothing because I know they don't care, but it's still stupid to me. But I don't mind them going out there and practicing. New Orleans Heat is
Whew.
around that time it's just unbearable around that time. You can't get any good work done. So it's good that they're gonna mix it up. Start the first week in Metairie, in the heat, go out to Cali, you know, be able to function some, get the preseason game in. I do wish they had that joint practices. I really was looking forward to that
Same.
joint practice against the Chargers. I didn't hear any reason why it didn't happen, like whether that was like a Chargers choice or Saints choice or whatever. But it is what it is, man. It's gonna be interesting.
Thoughts on I'm losing all. Maybe we shouldn't pot them. I'm like losing all my, like they're coming to me and then they just leave. Oh, thoughts on the day 3 of minicamp practice getting canceled for team building. They team with the 504 thanks to the gambler hitting a 3-point shot. I,
That was,
I,
that was my
I,
favorite part of the
I know
story.
someone said, "I bet you don't hit it." I know somebody, bro.
That was my favorite part of the story. Like of all people, it would be him. Like, yeah, like yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it.
Green Goblin mask was in there.
You got it. You got it, Hunter. You got it.
Bro, I want Hunter Decker to stay on the team just for the vibes, bro.
Just for them vibes, bro. That's the only reason. I didn't really have my take on it. Like, that's Kellen is really through this whole thing is trying to, build the culture, build that camaraderie and all that stuff. I don't think, missing one practice is going to be a big deal at the end of the day. I mean, but it's just something to just kind of watch. One of the, I would say worries, but something I'm watching for is Kellen Moore kind of like a Mike McDaniel, whereas like a scheme heavy coach, kind of finesse.
I don't.
I'm not saying he is. I'm interested because a lot of offensive coaches tend to be that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just want to see if how he approaches that, and we all talked about the DA thing and how he was lax during training camp and all that stuff. I'm interested to see how he handles training camp. Like what's his training camp style? How physical do they get? How long do they go hard? Padded practices and all that stuff. We'll see. I understand how he approached minicamp this year. I really do understand it, and I think he did it with he was very intentional with it. The way he conducted, doing mostly 7-on-7s and 9-on-7s.
Not a lot
Didn't
of
do
no
11-on-11s. And I understand their perspective because you do get injuries with 11-on-11 because you get some knees knocking against each other, guys tripping on each other and stuff like that, and you're not really getting any benefit from it because there is no true physicality. There is no real blocking and it's not real because there's no pads. You're in shorts and t-shirts. It's like, so what are you really gaining? So they really intentionally took this time out to really teach and learn fundamentals. So I like that. Now, with that said, that depends on how they handle training camp and all that stuff because you still got to practice football to play football. Like you got to practice hitting, tackling, and being physical if you want to be a physical team. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm kind of watching for.
It didn't bother me per se, but it just was on my radar just a little bit, just from the standpoint of you have a rookie quarterback that only had 950-ish passing attempts in college. A second year quarterback, and you drafted 9 rookies. Like, just maybe this is just me, old school, just pig-headed, but like reps are just so valuable. And you get so little in how the current modern CBA is, I don't know, constituted and is anyway. So I'm not saying like it's a situation that stood out to me very much like when I remember when we were kind of covering the first OTAs when DA was in year one and like attendance dropped to like 50%. Yeah. And like there was like nobody there. Like that felt different. That was like what? Like no one's huh? So it's not ringing an alarm bell like that is. It was just like, man, there's a lot of young players on this team.
Yeah.
And just like reps like you can't replace reps. So but that's just only it was just like we'll see.
Just something you kind of build you right now you just building a narrative and it depends on how it plays out, honestly. Like if the Saints come out looking really good and everything's kind of comes together, it's like, okay, maybe that worked. If it doesn't, we're gonna be looking back like, man, maybe he took that little day off and go shooting golf or go play golf. And they need to be practicing. God damn it.
And here's the thing, like post draft, because I did have like the whole of how Kellen essentially like had kind of I guess acquiesced to Mickey regarding the whole Derek Carr situation. And I will say this, like Kellen also kind of got lucky of how that situation ended because he really didn't show like he had a backbone. Like if had Derek Carr not got injured in the way he likely got injured, in the offseason and fucked up his whole soldier in that situation where he had to retire or he was going to lose his money, Kellen Moore was likely going to have to deal with Derek Carr being his starting quarterback this season, even though he absolutely everyone loved to laugh at my reporting that I said, and I stood on it 10 toes back then. Like he didn't want Derek Carr as his starting quarterback. Like everything, all the actions that has come out since then, like them not even meeting, they never met in person.
Never met.
But yeah, that was his guy. Okay.
And Derek Carr do it too. Even Derek Carr do it. Derek Carr do it.
Bro, like when his brother is like putting comparisons of like Derek Carr and Kellen back in college as college players, like you knew that shit was you knew that shit was there was no relationship there. But Kellen showed like that was he flinched, right? He flinched. It wasn't that's like a game time, that's a game situation. Like, you in the fire, like you got to make a decision. You got to stand up, and he flinched. He got bailed out. Got bailed out, bro. Got saved.
Well, it did.
So, and everything since then, it's been a reset. And I really feel like listening and hearing him speak, especially since like OTAs and minicamp, it feels like he's coming to his own.
Yeah.
Embracing, like he's like, okay, like I'm like I feel like maybe that entire situation has also made him, maybe helped him be like, okay, like now I know how to navigate it. Now I know how to like navigate these waters of being like the guy in charge. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm the head coach.
There you go. So it's going to be interesting to see how things move with him going forward. But like I said, I don't have a negative view of Kellen. That of how that was starting was a blemish on the start of him as a new head coach, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see, man. Like I like the way he's doing things now. Pretty much everything he's done has a purpose behind it.
Yes.
Which is what I like. It hadn't just seemed like they just kind of figured out as they're going along. Everything has had a purpose. And look, you get after minicamp, you get 6 weeks off. So it's like you almost forget everything you done to a certain extent. Like, so I understand the approach they made of just kind of let's put evaluation and all that to the side and let's just get the work in, get guys' bodies prepared, and get guys. He keeps talking about building good habits. He says that a lot. So, instituting those habits in the guys, and we'll see if it works. I'm really fascinated to see how Shuck and Rattler, I mean, we have no way of really knowing this outside of social media, how they attack these 6 weeks. And from what I've seen of Rattler, he going to attack it fiercely. Like, he's going to be coming into camp with it on his mind.
Bruh.
Rattler coming in with it on his mind. He ain't let up yet. Shuck, I don't know. Like, he's a rookie and he's got probably got to move here. He got a wife and this and that. Still not under contract again, like we talked about. You know what I'm saying? So he has a lot of little other things to deal with. So this race, everything matters, bro. Every little thing matters in the end. To see who reaches the finish line.
Don't be and you hit on a good point. Like, there's no football for 6 weeks, which means like, again, like in the content world, like shit just like comes to a halt. I know you and Bree gonna go off, have a nice little vacay in Miami.
Yeah.
But we will still be putting out content.
Always.
Like, trust. So we're gonna be talking about the Saints. We might not be talking about the Saints on some episodes, bro.
Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen in between? I mean, shit.
Oh boy.
Might have to do a podcast about World War or something like that.
Emergency podcast. Just saw an Iran fucking jet fly over my apartment. Like, Lord, bro. I'll be like, Jay, go yell first. You have that motherfucker tell that motherfucker to land. We're on the same side.
You'll be rolling with Jay.
We're okay.
I'm with her.
Anyway, yeah, we have no idea what we'll talk about, but our content will still be coming out. I have some ideas for some guests. We do have,
and if y'all got ideas, shoot ideas our way. Like, if y'all got any thoughts, we might do some kind of list
Yeah,
People
people
love
love
lists.
list episodes for some fucking reason. And I said this like again terribly late in this podcast, but please like and subscribe. Also, like YouTube tells like the statistics and the analytics tells us like how many people like have like the notifications on. Like 11% of our people who are subscribed don't have notifications on when we
Oh
put
man,
new.
that notification, a little bell, hit
Boom,
it.
just
That way,
hit
when
it.
we go live, boom, it pumps right up on your phone.
There,
Start watching.
there you go. But we will be back. Could you leave? We'll put something out before. We'll have some. We'll figure it out. But
Yeah,
we will have some content up. Don't
we're
want to
gonna
get
load
behind.
something in the chamber.
Yeah, we'll have some content up, locked and loaded for everything. And then I just hope that like nothing. And here's the big thing. Like I just hope nothing happens. Like this is as an NFL team. This has to be like the scariest
Oh man,
time as an NFL team. Like between now and training camp, because
because dudes hitting South Beach, they gonna play some basketball. They going ATV riding. They
well,
drinking. They like
we already
shit.
started with we already started with Diggs, and that was like during OTAs.
During OTAs, dudes they gonna drink. They're like, man, I ain't gotta go to work for 6 weeks, man. Let's go act a fool. I mean, the Saint. You know my saying with the Saints, bro. It's always something, always some kind of nuance, always some shenanigans. So I'm just hoping that it nothing to do with the law,
Please,
nothing to do with injury.
no suspensions.
No suspensions, none of that. Hopefully, none of that.
One thing I do hope gets figured out between now, and I would imagine it has to be, it's some type of resolution regarding the Taysom Hill situation. Like I would,
Right?
unless like I
Unless they just rolling with it,
with the 10 million and just say we just gonna take. I mean, they have the like with everything that with the ram check in the car, like it feels like they
they're
have
not
the
hurting
room
for
for
cap
it.
money. Yeah,
Nope.
they're not.
So maybe they'll just say,
So,
hey, here your 10 million. Like we just because then if Taysom, like if this is like his true final year, they don't have to like spread that over or
right.
whatever. Like
Actually just off the cap. Gone,
off the cap. Yep. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? I hope. Well, even I guess my question is that I hope we get clarification on it between now and training camp. That's all.
I also wonder if he's going to be healthy for camp.
Man, I would be shocked, man. He got that injury so late.
He did.
But he's also kind of
really
like a mutant, so I don't know, man.
Right. Remember didn't he have like a Liz Frank or something? Some kind of foot injury. And he just came back. It was like...
Yes, it was. Insane.
Just came back like nothing. Like, I'm like, what the
Ho
hell?
hum, bro. He's a mutant, bro. He's a mutant. Anyway, we appreciate y'all for all the support. We appreciate y'all for watching. Hope this little episode gave y'all some, little reprieve from everything going outside right now. We'll be back next week talking Saints in some form or fashion in some type of way. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back next week. Stay safe out there. With that, we are out.
Peace.